Let's be brutally honest. When Rockstar acquired FiveM, some fans held out hope. Maybe the platform would get more resources, maybe the community would gain stability. But the truth today, we didn't get stability. We got a disaster. Because right now, FiveM isn't just broken, it's dangerous. There are remote code execution vulnerabilities so severe that just by joining the wrong FiveM server, you could have malware silently dropped onto your PC. No pop-up warnings, no user confirmation, no protection at all. And here's the thing, the developers know, Rockstar knows, yet nothing has been done. You remember the drama I covered in FiveM's downfall was planned? Betrayal, mismanagement, and the original dev team being sidelined. That story felt like the end, but today, that was only the beginning. This is the security nightmare you never expected, and it might be the final nail in FiveM's coffin. The platform that once meant freedom and creativity in GTA, reduced to a backdoor waiting to be exploited. After Rockstar acquired CFX.re, the creators of FiveM, in August 2023, the platform continued to function on the surface. The game stayed online, servers remained populated, updates were still rolling out. To most people, nothing appeared wrong. But everything behind the facade had already changed. By late 2023, not a single original developer remained on the team. The entire original FiveM team had been replaced, fully sidelined, while Rockstar quietly onboarded a group of developers who had previously worked for FiveM's longtime rival project. What was framed as fresh manpower quickly revealed itself as mismanagement. Longtime contributors described the internal culture now dominated by toxic power dynamics, lack of transparency, and rampant dysfunction, all under Rockstar's umbrella. Former FiveM contributors painted a bleak picture. We were basically treated like shit since the beginning. There was a lack of any communication and lack of internal transparency. The new team, led by former Alt-5 members like Tuxic, Heron, Vector, Zugger, and Leon, was suddenly elevated over the legacy developers, given senior titles, and full commit access to the live codebase. But without onboarding, training, or understanding of the project's decade-long history and architecture, rather than contributing innovation, they introduced code regressions, major builds broken by untested merges, and escalating conflict routed through Rockstar management. One former dev recalled, "We tried talking to Ethan about the instability, but he sided with the newcomers. We ultimately got ignored." Meanwhile, the original developers quietly quit, internal leaks stating they were purposefully removed or resigned in protest, but were never publicly acknowledged by Rockstar. The community barely knew what happened. What resulted from all this was more than misalignment. It was a full reset. FiveM had been stripped of the people who built it, replaced with people who didn't understand it, and were apparently not meant to support it. The true fallout began to show up in invisible cracks, unexplained server crashes, poor patch quality, security regressions, and no one seemed to care enough to fix them. That collapse was not gradual, it was silent, but it was decisive. One of the biggest ticking time bombs hidden in FiveM is something most players never even see: CEF, the Chromium Embedded Framework. It's a lightweight, internal version of Chrome that powers pretty much every UI element in the game. Menus, dialogues, maps, notifications. It's what FiveM servers use to run web-based content directly inside GTA. Sounds harmless enough, until you realize FiveM is still running on CEF version 103 from mid-2022, while Chromium itself is already at version 139 as of April 2025, making FiveM's browser engine 36 major versions behind. That huge version gap means unpatched vulnerabilities are just sitting there unused by modern Chrome, but completely live inside FiveM. Between versions 103 and 139, security researchers discovered more than 23 remote code execution bugs, 15 privilege escalation flaws, and 30 memory corruption issues, all patched by Google and yet untouched by FiveM. Those include sandbox escapes and JIT compiler issues that let an attacker run arbitrary code without user interaction. A lot of these vulnerability reports involve CEF features you don't think about, like how video or images are handled in the background. One example is CVE 2024-21640, which was caused by a bug in how FiveM's embedded video system processed camera frames. The software failed to check some parameters correctly, allowing it to read memory it shouldn't be able to access. That's a fancy way of saying someone could sneak through the protective sandbox layer and see or manipulate data they're not supposed to. To put it simply, if your screen is being rendered or a video frame is processed, a malicious server could exploit that bug to peek into deeper parts of your computer, well beyond the game itself. Another real-world example, in mid-2024, security researchers exposed a Chrome bug in the V8 engine, the thing Chrome uses to run all JavaScript. That bug allowed hackers to escape Chrome's sandbox, the security cell isolation, with just visiting a website. No click required, no warnings, zero interaction. The same kind of engine powers FiveM's internal browser engine. Imagine you join a server that adds custom menus or parts of the interface. Maybe it looks harmless, just a chat box or a map overlay. But if that interface is powered by FiveM's outdated CEF, then that same familiar UI is also your backdoor in. Some malicious server could inject code into that menu behind the scenes and quietly install spyware, a keylogger, or even ransomware on your machine. You don't click anything. You don't accept any dialogue. Your normal gameplay session becomes your downfall. When players pointed out the issue to FiveM's lead dev, Precolium aka Tuxic, his response wasn't, "We'll fix it soon." It was, "The whole NUI thing is a big mess, so it is not worth it." In other words, thousands of players' security was low priority because updating the system would be too messy. This isn't a one-off glitch or edge case. This affects every single player. According to former FiveM developers, simply joining the wrong server is enough to let someone silently execute malicious code on your computer. No warnings, no prompts, no interaction required. That's how dangerous these RCE vulnerabilities have become. You think you're just role-playing as a cop. Then, in the background, a hacker drops spyware onto your system, or installs a remote access Trojan, giving them control over your machine, or simply logs your keystrokes. The whole time you had no idea it was happening. And the worst part? The developers know it. Rockstar knows it. Discues, one of FiveM's original lead developers, didn't mince words. Playing FiveM isn't safe unless you only join servers run by people you personally trust, unless you want your PC to get infected with Trojans or rats. That's not some random message from a user. It came from one of the most respected figures who helped build FiveM, and who tried to fix these issues, only to be pushed out of the project for speaking up. Meanwhile, the team that replaced him isn't fixing the problem, they're making it worse. To make this concrete, here's how actual malware has worked through FiveM. Security researchers uncovered open-source backdoor tools on GitHub, designed to inject malicious code into FiveM servers. One such tool actively scans server data, steals license keys and admin tokens, and can even rewrite resource files, disguising itself behind familiar UI elements injected via CEF-based interfaces. These exploits use perform HTTP request calls to fetch remote script payloads, then run them without you knowing. On top of that, many popular Lua server scripts lack basic input validation, allowing clients to run trigger server event calls that execute arbitrary server-side code. That means a compromised client tied to a server can push malicious commands globally, including shutting down servers or launching remote system commands through unprotected libraries. Security flaws aren't the only problem. Even the system meant to protect creators, the asset escrow system, is now being exploited, and Rockstar, they're just letting it slide. When Asset Escrow launched, the idea was simple. Encrypt paid resources so only legitimate customers could use them. Sounds good, right? Only the server with the right license could run the content. But here's what happened. Security researchers have uncovered a serious loophole in FiveM's Asset Escrow system. Protected asset URLs can be predicted or intercepted, allowing unauthorized downloads without a license. That means someone can directly access and download paid content, even encrypted Lua code, vehicle models, or maps, just by guessing or reusing valid URLs. This effectively defeats the entire encryption model and exposes creators' work. FiveM admins acknowledged the issue and promised fixes back in mid-2022, but enforcement has been minimal since then. There are now entire black market forums dedicated to cracked escrow assets, some even bundled with malware. These cracked packages are sold openly, sometimes under store names on Tbex or outside. And guess what? The original creator gets nothing, no support, no profit, profits, no recourse. Yet Rockstar still takes a 20% cut of every escrow sale via T-Bex. That means they're literally profiting off content they aren't protecting. You build something for your community, sell it through the official system, and it gets leaked, while Rockstar still takes their commission. Content creators on the CFX forums have reported that escrow often causes bugs like failed to verify protected resource or error parsing script, mostly from upload errors or corrupted files. But even worse, many creators complain that support tickets are ignored, revoked features are removed, and enforcement around resold content is practically non-existent. Even some developers who initially supported escrow believe it's flawed. They say it's made crack detection harder and has turned into a tool for scammers, not protection. It's the worst kind of betrayal. You build for the platform, you sell through official escrow systems, your work gets stolen anyway, Rockstar profits off it, and then ignores enforcement requests. This isn't just failure, it's corporate abandonment. A broken system still generating revenue, but offering creators and buyers zero integrity or protection. And unless something changes, it's only going to get worse. At this point, you might be asking, how can Rockstar stand by while FiveM crumbles under their own brand? The answer may not be negligence, it may be intentional. Sources indicate what we're witnessing isn't random decay, it's a controlled demolition strategy. Rockstar isn't trying to fix FiveM, they're letting it die, quietly and deliberately. Critical systems like CEF remain unpatched, asset theft continues unchecked, communication vanishes completely, and T-Bex, the engine powering escrow, has offered no public statements since the vulnerabilities broke. Why would they do that? Because Rockstar has something far bigger in the works. Project Rome, the Rockstar online modding engine, an official platform for GTA 6 modding and multiplayer development. Rome is being built from the ground up to replicate what FiveM pioneered, but under full control. It's rumored that Rockstar started building Rome even before they acquired CFX, aiming to eventually replace FiveM entirely. The theory gains traction seeing how Rockstar has quietly courted major FiveM servers, NoPixel and Complexo, as early partners. In leaked documents, developers tied to those servers are said to be working with Rockstar on Rome migration plans. That prioritization helped them skip enforcement that would have impacted other servers, signaling a clear favor for the future platform. This creates a narrative. Acquire FiveM for optics and talent. Replace original devs with a team suited to support corporate control. Let FiveM decay quietly. Launch Rome as the safe, stable, official alternative. Capitalize on the momentum with Twitch activation and drops. And speaking of Twitch, Mike Minton, Twitch's chief monetization officer, known around the industry as the Money Guy, recently confirmed deep collaboration with Rockstar and Take-Two for GTA 6's dev and launch pipeline. According to him, Twitch is already in planning talks for roleplay servers, Twitch drops, and sustained marketing activations, all aiming to build hype over time. Minton even hinted at active discussions about official Twitch RP servers, potentially powered by Rockstar-approved modding tools, or candidates like Rome itself. So let's connect the dots. FiveM is crumbling under Rockstar ownership. Internal projects and insiders confirm Rome is real and being prioritized. Rockstar actively collaborates with Twitch on GTA 6 launch strategy, including RP solutions. Major FiveM networks are already in Rockstar's orbit through Rome planning. All of this suggests that the rot within FiveM isn't an accident. It's strategic displacement. FiveM is simply too powerful, too independent, and too community-driven for Rockstar to continue sponsoring when they can profit more from a closed, controlled ecosystem. In short, this isn't a bug. They planned this. FiveM isn't dying on its own. It's being quietly dismantled and replaced.